check, 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 check. Yo, we gonna dump or are we gonna pump the Bears and the Bulls like Biden and Trump? All right, we got audio, y'all. We'll be live in 1 minute. Make sure to smash up the like, y'all. All right, y'all, we are live on this absolutely beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed. And guys, we're going to be talking about what Bitcoin is doing today. We're going to start on the macro, all right? Yesterday, guys, if you were here, I just felt in my bones that we were going to come lower. And we came lower, all right? And we are currently at a crucial area of support right now. This is a very, very important area. And I'm going to be talking about the most important levels we need to be aware of, as well as my outlook on the charts, guys. As usual, if we can get 1,000 likes within the first half hour of streaming, we will give away 1,000 USDT. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Shout out to my man, Shane G. Shout out to Crypto Dan. God bless you, Crypto Dan. Shout out to It's Geo. Why haven't I taken profit if I'm up 40K? Oh, I've already taken profits, my friend. I've taken out over $10,000 of realized profits. And the main reason why I'm holding a short trade, still have not hit a take profit yet since yesterday, is because I have no need to. I have lots of Bitcoin on spot. And yeah, I've already realized a good amount of profits here on this trade, right? So about 1, 2, 3, I can't do math. This is about $10,000 of profits realized already. So I've already won the trade, and I have plenty of time. Plenty of time, because by the way, ZoomX doesn't show you total realized profit. It shows you daily realized. So every day this resets. So it looks like I've taken no profit, but I have taken profit. I've got plenty of time to close the trade if I see something extremely bullish happen, you know. But look, this trade, when I took this thing, right, my reasoning for taking this short trade was because At the time, I was in 4 longs, and I've been holding Bitcoin on spot since $15,000. So I was overexposed to the long side. So at least let me have some exposure to the downside here. Obviously, I've got way more still exposed to the long side than to the downside right now. Right? So I want to be exposed to the short side with an entry like this. This is the kind of trade that I do not close after already making 10 grand on it. So that's why. I know it seems kind of strange, but that is the reasoning behind it. Alright, by the way guys, if you want to trade Bitcoin and altcoins along with me, I'm currently trading on ZoomX, MEXC, and BingX. Links in the pinned comment in the chat and the description. Also guys, if you want to join the Casper crew, where every single day we're giving you our trading plans, our levels, and all that stuff, gave this short setup in advance. You can go to jasoncaspertrading.com, click the link to join the VIP Discord. It is the best trading group in the world, guys. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, right? But seriously, this group will set you up for success. All right, so Bitcoin, we're going to get into exactly what is happening here, and we're going to get into why. All right. Shout out to everybody else in the chat. Shout out to Straightway Life, next stop 37K. That's kind of what I'm thinking too, Straightway Life. All right. Shout out to V-Sun, 30K incoming. Shout out to Free Will. Shout out to Pasternak 88. Shout out to Divine Hood. Shout out to J Baker 007 or 017. Yeah. So, okay. Let's get into the analysis, guys. Shout out to Straightway Life. Again in the chat. Shout out to Steve M. Shout out to the Dusty Hunt. Shout out to Chip Lay. Shout out to Crypto Graz. He says, everybody get in the Discord too. Get wrecked. Shout out to Bitcoin Beaver. He says, what if this is the bottom? Shout out to Alex. Shout out to L. Jones. Shout out to Sharp. Shout out to you, Sharp. God bless everybody up in here, guys. Again, if we get 1,000 likes within the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. All right, so what's the deal with the corn here, guys? So let's talk about where we are at right now, because this is actually a very important level. It's a very, very important level, and I'm looking at this more as a zone than a level, but the Bitcoin price has currently come back to the point of control, the highest volume node of the previous fair value zone of the last bull market. This is crucial. Why? Because if we can hold in this zone, it actually becomes more probable that we come back up to these highs to make a double top of sorts, right? So this is a crucial zone. Now let's remember how we got here, right? We were watching this. This is the previous range value area from the bull market, 2021, 2022. And we were watching this key level of 31K saying, look, if the price comes up above this level, then it's more probable than not that we come up to the point of control. And if we reclaim that, it's more probable than not we come up to the value area high. Well, the probabilities have played out. And once we rejected from the value area high, this is the first major support, because getting a rejection from value area high, it becomes more probable that we make our way back down to the high volume node of the range. Okay? Now, when we came up to this zone, the Fibonacci Golden Pocket retest, we saw some pretty bearish divergences here. Shout out to Carlos Alejandre. He says, good morning. Manta, when you can, please. Thank you so much for the super chat. God bless you, man. Yeah, we could get into that. As we came up to the key resistance here, macro resistance, we saw the dreaded bald-headed Gary Gensler market cipher B pattern. Whereas the price was getting higher into key resistance, Gary Gensler's bald head getting lower, the smile getting more and more Photoshop. Is the ETF approved? Is it not approved? Are we approving it? Are we not approving it? We don't know, right? Well, if you've been following the channel, you guys know that we have been waiting for this rejection for quite some time, right? Ever since I opened up a long trade from the low of that previous range we were in. Let everybody know I was long. Let everybody know the target of the pump, where we were looking to basically come up to that key zone, which this pop-up's in the way here, but we were looking to break out and hit into that Fibonacci golden pocket level right around here, right? And we were looking for, what were we looking for as we got up to that area? We were looking for bearish divergences on market cipher B. The day before the ETF came out, I was letting everybody know this is the level we need to be prepared for a rejection from. And that is exactly what has happened. It's not because I was predicting necessarily anything. It's just all to do with what is most probable to happen, right? That was what was most probable to happen. So we're seeing the bearish divergences here, and we are coming down right now to our key support. So this is very key because this area, if we lose it, then we are heading down to the next key support, which is going to be the area between the Fibonacci golden pocket and the 786. All right. So if we hold this area that we're currently at right now, and I'm going to get into, we're going to zoom in more on here later, but first let's just start on the macro and understand that the main zones for Bitcoin are this right here, where we've gotten our rejection, and then this right here, where we're currently at. And if we lose that, we are going to come back down to retest what historically has been a massive support resistance flip for the past 3 entire years. Confluence with the Fibonacci golden pocket. So this right here is the doorway to much lower prices. And so what happens here is really going to determine quite a bit for the future of Bitcoin. And guys, by the way, make sure to subscribe to the channel because you don't want to be missing these juicy TA updates. All right. I have been maintaining my bearish bias since the rejection of this level. All right. Not discrediting the possibility of a short squeeze or a pullback, but really truly believing that this is the high, and this pullback that we're getting right now is that last pullback that we will get before the halving, expecting the fear and the pain to set in so that we can scoop up Bitcoin on the cheap down at our next major zone of support before the bull market happens and we hit a new all-time high, so we are prepared to make another 150% at least during this bull market on Bitcoin. That doesn't include all the altcoins that we can also be buying when they are bleeding out. Because let me tell you, when Bitcoin's down at this area here, people are going to be so scared. The prices are going to be so low. I can guarantee you there's going to be FUD in the news. Binance declared bankruptcy, and there's a nuclear bomb going off, and there's a new pandemic out, all on the same day. And the CEO of Bitcoin just retired. Okay, just joking. But China will ban Bitcoin. That's a good one, right? Then guys love when China bans Bitcoin. It happens every 4 years. China bans Bitcoin again. All right, but this is where the money's made. Okay, so let's kind of zoom in here, take a look at what is happening. So you can see here that the Bitcoin price has indeed gotten a little bit of a bounce from this area here. Okay, now I am kind of looking more so at this chunk of price action right here, because we had this very clear ascending triangle pattern right here before the big breakout, and this, in my opinion, is what we need to be watching for, because in this symmetrical triangle pattern, this is the only place in the entire move up once we broke out of 31K. It's the only place where we actually did like have some kind of resistance at that 38K level. You guys remember 38K, right? It was resistance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And every time we made a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. What does that mean? That means this chunk of price action is very, very important. And I do think that we could see us come down lower here before we get a little bit of a bounce. And now what exact levels are we looking at? Well, for me, I am looking at this here, okay? When we zoom out, we can see that this ascending triangle, I pulled all the volume within there, and we have our high volume node right around 37,000. We have our value area high right around 37,500, give or take. All right. We can even pull the volume of this entire section here and see that the value area high of this entire section is coming in also right around that same area, around 37,000. So 37K is a very important support resistance flip. Keep in mind also, guys, that a lot of people have been watching this CME gap, right? One of the reasons why I don't think that we've quite bottomed out yet is because everybody has had their eyes on two levels, right? Yesterday, everybody had their eyes on this. And we were saying, you know what? Because everyone's watching this, I don't think this is going to give us the move. And then everybody was watching the CME gap. And again, because everybody and their mom, every single YouTube channel, whether good or bad technical analysts, were talking about the CME gap, right? Filling the gap, and then boom, right? So I just don't think that's going to be it either. And also 38K. A very key level. Everybody's looking at 38K. Everybody and their grandma is saying, I think we come down to test 38K. 38K, 38K. Well, we're very, very close to 38K. And as I look at the oscillators here, when I look at Market Cypher B, I feel, and I could be wrong, I feel that there's still room to the downside. On the daily time frame, there's definitely room to the downside. On the 6 hour, we are not seeing any bullish divergences, and money flow is getting lower. All right, this looks really nice to me to say a bottom is very near, right? But not necessarily here yet. Same with the 4 hour, right? Money flow on the 4 hour is actually getting a little higher, but the momentum waves are getting lower. So I would like to see another little bit of a move to the downside so we could start to see some bullish divergences on some of these higher time frames here. Another thing that has kind of kept me more bearish is the way that the price action is behaving, right? When we see the price action get a big drop like this, bam, and consolidate, and the bounces are slow and grindy, and then the drops are fast and painful, and then we come down to a key support, and then we slow and grindy, and then bam, right? We haven't seen a reaction that, in my opinion, warrants us to feel that the bottom is necessarily in. Remember what happened when we came up to the some of these areas, like this right here was a very key zone. We got a very quick reaction from that, right? This is something like you would kind of want to see, right? You want to see a pretty quick reaction, and we might get it, right? We might. But look what's happening right now at the CME gap, right? We filled it, and we back tested it. Now we're back testing it again. Market Cypher B on the 4 hour is very bottomed out. It's been very bottomed out right now 3 times. Each one of these little bear flags has been bottomed out. So for me, that's telling me I would rather wait for lower when we see a divergence. All right, and if anybody doesn't know what a divergence is, it's basically where the price is making a lower low and the oscillator is making a higher low, like this set of uneven gluteus maximi right here, right? We can even superimpose the glutes onto the chart and see that it lines up pretty much perfectly. Wow, that is a beautiful sight. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, how does a person end up with glutes like this? Well, here's the thing. If you don't pay attention to mobility, hip and ankle mobility, groin mobility, and you start squatting and deadlifting heavy, you won't be activating the right muscles, and so you'll overcompensate on one side, which leads to quad dominance on the right side and glute dominance on the left side. Now, over time, this can cause an aesthetic look that some people like this look, other people don't like this look. But here's the one thing we need to know about this. What happens if you keep lifting weights with a muscular imbalance? An injury, okay? An injury, right? You're working out, you're doing your thing, you're in the downtrend, lower lows and lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. You think you're making progress, but then because you're not addressing your mobility, muscular imbalances, injury, you have to stop doing what you're doing. You're gonna have to go the other way for a little bit. You're gonna have to get some rehabilitation, right? Work on that mobility. So we're waiting for that bullish divergence to kind of come in here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I am waiting for. Now, again, it just makes more sense to me. This area down here, this is where the majority of the volume is. This is where our support resistance flip, in my opinion, is. So I am waiting for a little bit lower here. Okay, now this is kind of, in my opinion, the key levels that we need to be aware of. First of all, yes, could we get a bounce from where we're at right now? The answer is absolutely. We have come down to the highest volume node of the entire previous range, all the volume that we traded in the previous entire range, right? So yeah, we could get a bounce from here. I'm not saying we can't, all right? I'm not saying that we can't. In fact, I did get in a little long trade from here, and it's about to get stopped out. You guys want to see me get stopped out? Let's check it out. I took a little long trade when we got in here, when we bounced from that POC. We changed market structure. We came down to the fib golden pocket. I took a scalp. And honestly, my next target was going to be up here at 40K, but it looks like I'm going to get stopped out. Now I might get stopped out. We might do an old bounceroni and queso from here. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Let's pull a fresh fib here. No, that is the fresh fib. This is the fresh fib. All right, so let's see. Let's see what happens here. The 786 is actually probably pretty good. Let me actually set an alert here. Hang on, guys. Let me set an alert. A little live analysis in the moment. All right. Let's set a little alert up in here. Let's quickly go down to our 6-minute time frame. Quick hiatus from the analysis, because I do kind of want to know if Bitcoin is coming down to that 786 zone, because this on a lower term time frame does look like we might be able to get a little bit more upside here, but I still remain looking for lower levels. So let's just go ahead and put an alert right here. Okay, so right now, here's what we need to be aware of, in my opinion. I am expecting at some point Bitcoin is going to get a bounce, and this bounce is going to get a lot of people very bullish. And I think it could be a very nice move to the upside, right? I think we could get probably like a 20-25% move to the upside. That's quite a big move to the upside, right? But we cannot lose track of the more macro analysis. And the more macro analysis right now is that we're officially in bearish market structure on the daily time frame after rejecting from a key resistance. The context of the market right now is that for every single market cycle going all the way back to literally 2012, Bitcoin has done the same exact thing, right? I've shown this chart a million times, but we rally up in the bear market. The white vertical line represents the halving. We reject right from the key fib level, and we come down to test our green line of support. We did in 2012. We did it right here in 2016. We did it right here in 2019, and we are right now repeating that same pattern in 2024. So I still think that we are topped out right now, at least in the medium short term. And look at the 2-week time frame. Red dot printing on the 2-week with 5 days left. Unless this candle closes very bullish, we're going to have a confirmed red dot on the 2-week time frame. And these higher time frames, guys, we need to interpret the lower time frames through the lens of the higher term time frames. So red dot on the 2-week absolutely gives us room to get a retrace and then come down a little bit lower, and then we can go into the halving. So this is my actual analysis. This is the plan I'm trading. This is the plan I'm sticking to right now until I am proven wrong by the price action, and then I will go back to the drawing board. And that's the way I trade. All right, so right now, if we start to get a move to the upside, I am looking at this key zone of around $45,000 as key resistance. $45,000, if we get a move to the upside, is going to be key resistance. Why? Because it has been historically our resistance going all the way back to December 5th. And it's a Fibonacci golden pocket. So what does that mean? That means head and shoulder pattern. Massive head and shoulder pattern, right? Now I know there's going to be people in the comments, Jason, that's not a head and shoulders, you stupid YouTuber. You're just here to shill your Bybit affiliate links in Market Cypher. You know what? You're right. I don't know what a head and shoulder pattern is, guys. I don't. I really don't. But in my mind, this is a head and shoulder. All right, in my mind, this is a head and shoulder. If this isn't the textbook right way to draw head and shoulders, I don't know what to tell you. But when I look at a head and shoulders pattern, do you know what I see? I don't see a pattern. I see a change of market structure. We were making higher highs and higher lows, and now we're making lower lows and lower highs. So you want to call it a head and shoulders, whatever. I call it a change in market structure. And once you see that, you look for that right shoulder to form into key resistance, and then we could take it down to key support. Now, where is key support coming in? Well, let's take a look at the daily time frame here. Actually, yeah, let's take a look at the daily. We'll go to Coinbase real quick. Key support is going to be between, it's a big zone, but I would say between 30,000 and 35,000. Why that level? Because we have a pretty big confluence in that zone. Number one, we have the previous range value area low. Number two, we have the Fibonacci golden pocket, and we have the Fibonacci 786. Right, so somewhere in this zone, probably around this area, is where we're going to find our support. Right? So that would be my target. If we get even something like this, get a retrace up to 45, come back down, dip into our box, and then that's probably going to be the bottom. Now, how low do we go and when do we get there? That I cannot say. Because again, I'm just a stupid YouTuber here to shill Bybit affiliate links and market cipher. So I can't tell you when, but I can tell you what price I'm looking for. All right, now here's something else I'm looking for. Market cipher B. Speaking of shilling, the best indicator in the world, period. All right. No other indicator has such powerful top and bottom signals, in my experience. But when we are in a strong uptrend, when you see an oversold wave on the daily with a big green dot, that means the local bottom is in. Okay, we saw one here, we saw one here, and the best signal in the world could be like something like this. I mean, if we dip down and hit, like, let's say we hit something crazy, like, let's say we hit something insane, like 26K or whatever. You know, we see a deep oversold wave with a big green dot that's even lower than the previous one. That's a really nice bottom signal. In fact, these are the signals that I used in the previous bull market to basically 2x leverage my spot Bitcoin in inverse perpetual. I would 2x leverage my spot Bitcoin inverse perpetual so that as the price of Bitcoin went up, the amount of Bitcoin I held also went up. What about the fees, Jason? They didn't take away from my profit, okay? That's all I can say. They didn't take away from my profit. I still had more Bitcoin in the end, worth more than when I started, right? So previous bull market, one of my favorite things to do was when we got a big green dot on the daily, I would take some spot Bitcoin, put it onto Bybit, which I don't even use anymore, but I will soon, right? I'm using MEXC and ZoomX, right? And I would just 1x leverage, 2x leverage long here, right? So if I had one Bitcoin on spot, I would enter a 1 Bitcoin position trade here, 1x leverage, no risk of liquidation, 2x leverage, no risk of liquidation. And as Bitcoin got a move to the upside, 100% move to the upside, guess what? Now I have 2 Bitcoin instead of 1 Bitcoin, and both of those Bitcoins are worth 100% more than my 1 Bitcoin was worth down here. So this is a very nice way to make slow, consistent gains in a bull market, right? In fact, I'll never forget this green dot, and I'll never forget what other green dot? The January green dot. I did the January green dot, and you know what? The January green dot, I was a little less certain because it wasn't a big green dot. I remember I told my wife, "Hey, I just entered a really big trade." She's like, "Do you feel good about it?" I'm like, "Well, if it goes well, it's gonna make us a lot of money." And I went to sleep, and guess what, man? The next day when I woke up, Elon Musk had tweeted hashtag Bitcoin. This is why I'll never forget this. This is the night CryptoFace made $1 million, I think. I woke up, I entered the trade here, somewhere in here. I woke up and Elon Musk had tweeted this, and I was like, wow, I made the right decision. And then we came all the way back, right? But I still knew I made the right decision, right? So this is what we need to look for here. There's no reason to be, unless you're a scalper or a day trader, there's no reason to be freaking out over every little $100 move here, right? Because if we're going for the big meat and potatoes, right, then we know around this zone and around the time market cipher B prints that big green dot, that's when, especially for spot or using the technique I just told you about, the 1x leverage holding of Bitcoin, that's when we can start to do those things, right? We don't need to rush into it. Even if we're off by a day or two, wait for confirmation on the day. Does it really matter? In hindsight, did it really matter if you bought on spot at the exact bottom or right here? Of course it doesn't matter. Of course it doesn't matter, you know? So that's my overall outlook for Bitcoin right now. It gets me giddy as a schoolgirl, guys, because there's something special about Bitcoin bull markets. All right. I get nostalgic for the 2020 era. I get nostalgic for the fall of 2020, the winter of 2020. That was a very special time, and that's the time we're heading into again, guys. All right, that is the time we are heading into again. So it's a fun time. It's an exciting time. So don't let this dump get you down in the dumps, y'all. Don't let the dump get you down in the dumps, is what I'm trying to say. Wow, look, Bitcoin getting a bounce right from the golden pocket didn't stop me out. Would you look at that? Wow. Make sure to like the stream, guys. We got about 1,500 people near, only about 500 likes. Wow, look at that. That happens to me all the time. I don't get stopped out. Stop loss below the golden pocket. Alrighty. Who we got in the chat? Shout out to gods_cocaine. He says, anyone got spare change? I need money for food. I think that's probably one of the best comments I've ever received from gods_cocaine. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to J-Boy Bullage. 6 Juanita rejecting on the 3-minute. Spot buy is better for you or future. Okay, so look, here's the thing. If you are not a trader, then spot is the way to go. If you're new to trading, I recommend primarily looking for those good spot buys in the bull market. You can't go wrong. You literally can't go wrong buying spot heading into a bull market, right? You can go wrong futures trading in a bull market. All right. So if you're new, I recommend spot trading and low leverage, higher time frame swing trading. All right. The market cipher indicator does work very well at giving you those big pivots, those big in the bull market when to buy the dip. I have a whole playlist of beginner friendly trading content using the market cipher indicator where it shows you how to get in those trades at the right time. Okay, but you have to be very careful futures trading because you can easily, if you don't know what you're doing, lose a lot of money. So if I had to pick one, spot or futures, if I could only have one, I would do futures because I've been doing this for a long time and I could earn more Bitcoin trading futures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to buy on spot if I'm trading inverse perpetual and I'm stacking Bitcoin by trading futures. But you have to know where your skill level is at. And if you're newer to this, spot is the way to go because you cannot, the only way you could mess up spot trading right now is if you don't take profit. That's the only way you could mess up. You could come in on spot, you look at the daily time frame, the weekly time frame, the 4-hour. That's all you need to make your decisions. And you don't have to worry about liquidation. You don't have to worry, you know, if you're looking at general zones, right? You say like, this is the zone I'm looking to buy. So you buy in this zone somewhere. And then, you know, let's say the price does this. Then big whoop-de-doo, right? You're still in profit. You didn't buy the exact bottom, but you're in giant profit, right? Now, if you're futures trading that, you might have just gotten liquidated and you were still right. You were still right that the bottom was near, but now you're liquidated. So you gotta know what you want to do. All right. All right. Shout out to Lane Hughes. He says, to be honest, I think we bottom here locally and move up to 45K and then back down. Yeah, I'm looking for that too, Lane Hughes. I just want a little bit lower before 45K. On a little bit lower before we get that move up. Interesting. So, according to Divine Hood, he says, we need to watch Grayscale. Every morning they're sending 10K to 15K Bitcoin to Coinbase to market sell. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So, isn't that interesting? That's why, like, this is why I say the technicals always predict the fundamentals. Right? The technicals will predict the fundamentals. Now we're seeing bearish fundamentals come out. And so it's just so weird that the bearish fundamentals come out after bearish technicals happen right here. That's just how it is. They work together somehow. I don't know. It's a very strange thing when you start realizing that technical analysis is respected and the events that happen line up with what the chart was already saying. It's a very strange thing. You know, you look at what the dollar did in June 2001, just a few months before 9/11 happens. Key resistance, massively bearish divergences, and then 9/11 kind of like is the fundamental thing that causes that move to play out. Very interesting stuff, right? March 2020, before everything dumps, massively bearish signs on the chart. It's very strange how that works. I don't know how it works, but it is interesting. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to Player One. Should you sell your kidney at 38K? I don't know. What's the risk-reward ratio on that, my friend? All right, let's check out our super chats up in here. Shout out to everybody with the super chats. All right, Carlos Alejandre, Manta. Shout out to Callsign RX. Yo, Jason, can you do TA on stocks? Can you do Carvana feeling bullish? Yeah, we could, man. Immediate short term, long or short? JC301, in the immediate short term, I am more so looking for longs than I am shorts. In the immediate short term, the rest of this week, I am looking for long trades. I am not looking for short trades. I'm looking for long trades during the rest of this week. Okay? Because I feel that we've come down a lot, enough to change market structure, and now we need to get our first retracement. Shout out to Bitcoin Slut. Can we look at Hex? Yeah, so let's start with my man Carlos. We'll take a look at Manta. Oh my goodness, bro. I can't do analysis on this. I'm so sorry. But thank you for the super chat. I don't know what to say about this. Okay, it's pumped like crazy, and now we're consolidating. What could I say? Let's go to the 1 hour. Okay, so here's what I would say. Let's go to the 48-minute time frame here. The only thing I could possibly say here is that we have a sideways range very, very, very locally. This is the only market structure we have to work with right now, okay? Also, you could say that we have this resistance and this support here. So really for me, have we already gotten a bounce from the golden pocket? We've gotten a bounce from the 786. So that would have been like, this would have been the first area I would look to long, the 786, the golden pocket. The second area that I would look to long on this, and again, I don't know anything about Manta, but an easy long setup, in my opinion, would be to get a move down to grab the lows that we have right here. Right? These lows down here. Because there's probably a lot of people who are expecting a breakout and they've got their stop losses under these lows. Right? So we kind of had this like triangle thing here, right? So we get a move up. There's basically a fake out. Consolidate, we're down to the range. If we reject from here, let's say we reject from around this area here and come back down just to take the liquidity, that could be a nice long setup. That's the only long setup I can actually see on this thing, is coming down to the lows again. But like I said, there's so little historical data that how could we really plan for a good trade on this besides the obvious? And so far for me, the obvious was looking for a long at the low at the 786, which we already got. And now secondly would be to just take some of this liquidity here. We don't have to take it all, honestly. We can take some. All right. All right, can we take a look at Carvana? Yeah, we could take a look at Carvana. So it looks really nice on the weekly. We have a bullish divergence here on the weekly and a change of market structure, and now we're in an uptrend. And money flow is getting thick on the weekly, and it looks pretty nice actually. So let's do our local range. Let's deal with our local range. That's going to be key. Let's look at the volume of this. Okay, so we're above value area high. Yeah, so it does look pretty nice to me. And I do have to say that we do have ourselves a nice inverted head and shoulders right here. Man, it looks nice. We've obviously come down to hit that 0.5 50% retrace here. And we're getting a little bit of a bounce from it on the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Man. Okay, so like, I would say this. A really nice setup on this would be the following. A really, really nice setup on this, if we're gifted with it, would be another little move down. And we see the daily time frame doing this. And then we look at this as we're longing the right shoulder of an invert head and shoulder. Invert head and shoulder. That's how you can tell. I'm just here to shill market cipher and not and Bybit, and I don't really know what I'm talking about because I don't know what that is called. An inverse head and shoulder. I call it an invert head and shoulder. This could be an invert head and shoulder pattern, and then our target could be pretty dang high, man, like 131, 125, let's say. That's a pretty nice setup, honestly. That's a nice setup. That's a beautiful setup, and yeah, look at that. Our target would literally be this last area of support resistance. We could have a very smooth move up to this zone here, because smooth move down equals smooth move up. This would be our next area of resistance, right up here. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. So yeah, again, it would be a gift if we get another low. And the 4 hour and the daily are giving us bullish divergences. The 4 hour looks primed to give us a bullish divergence here, with money flow getting higher along the way. Look, not financial advice, guys. I am just telling you what I think. You know what I'm saying? So, an invert. That's right, an introvert head and shoulder. We've got an introvert head and shoulder printing on the chart right here. All right. You've got a bigger head and shoulders if you zoom in. Oh, if you zoom out. Let's go to the weekly again. Oh, wow. I didn't even see that. Yeah, we got an even bigger introvert head and shoulder here. Yeah, okay. Yep. I think it looks bullish on the weekly time frame. I think this looks bullish in general. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Carvana. I wonder if you could trade that on BingX. Maybe I'll hop into a little low leveraged long there. Shout out to Saratoga Sparkling Water. All right. You know, I love sparkling water. I gave up Zevia. If anyone's watching, you know I was drinking all that Zevia. I gave it up, all right? I said no more natural flavors, no more stevia extract for me. All right, I'm done with that stuff. You know, I was getting a little extreme with it. You know how it is, you guys that try and eat healthy. You start off, and then these little things start to creep into your everyday diet. These things you know they're not good, but they're still kind of good, right? You justify it and you rationalize why it's okay. I said, forget that. No more Zevia. I'm only going to drink sparkling water. And then... I decided to do what I haven't done because I was scared to do it, but you guys know I was a fan of Pellegrino. right? So I actually looked into the Pellegrino, and of all the dang sparkling waters, it has the highest amount of fluoride in it. I couldn't believe it, all right? So I said, no more Pellegrino. This one, I did a little research. It seems to be a little bit better. So if anyone out there is trying to avoid fluoride, you know, my wife was like, no wonder you've been so docile and beta male lately. All the dang Pellegrino with the fluoride. So I'm trying to, this is called alpha water, guys. This is alpha water. It's going to keep me on the top of my market cipher shill game. For life, baby. All right, let's see other super chats up in here. Hex. We got to look for Hex. All right. Hex. All right, hang on. We got to get to a better. Here we go. How old is this? February 2022. That's it. Is that all? Is that it? Isn't there an exchange that goes back farther? There we go. Alrighty, so Hex. Let's look at Hex. Well, we definitely have a weekly bullish divergence. Multiple drive of it. This entire way down was bullish div. Let's turn it off log scale here. Yeah, so when we turn it off log scale, I'd say it looks like we're back down to the lows. I mean, from where we're at right now, upward potential, if you're bullish on this thing, is 7,000%. Is it gonna pump? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to Hex when I should have. Everyone's like, OMG Hex. I'm like, yeah, I'm trading Bitcoin. We just made 1%. Okay, so I don't know. Is this done? Was this a rug pull? I don't even know. But I would say this, based on the chart, because that's what I do. I'm a chart guy. We have money flow and momentum getting higher as we are consolidating at what appears to be a very, very clear bottom with an upward potential of 7,000% to the all-time high at about 55 cents. We are right now less than 1 cent. And so, yeah, the way I look at this thing is if it has a future, and that's up for you to decide based on your own fundamental research and analysis. If it has a future and you think it does, this looks like an amazing thing to hold heading into a crypto bull market because potential 7,000+% gains. All right, so let's go back to log scale. Let's go to the daily. Let's take a look here. The daily time frame. So look at this. We've also got ourselves an introverted head and shoulders pattern. An introverted head and shoulders, in a sense right here. Key resistance. And then we are getting something like this. Let's see where we got that bounce from. Bounced from around the 786 level. It's not really exact. I mean, money flow looks bullish. I would say this. As a spot hodl, anywhere underneath this trend line is a good place to be DCAing in because we haven't broken out yet. And so if you're accumulating in this range, accumulation zone, right? That's what the Wyckoff people would call it. Oh, it's just a Wyckoff accumulation. It's just accumulation. And we're gonna bam. I don't know if that's what they call it. I'm not too familiar with Wyckoff, to be honest with you guys. All right. I am, but here's the thing. All traders use different words for things. So when you come across some guy on the internet who uses cool, fancy words, it's the same thing as every other trader. They're just calling it something different, and they're using a different tool to look at it, right? So whatever this thing is, where we're ranging for a long time with a clear resistance, this is the place where, if this thing has a bullish future, this is where you want to be accumulating, because we don't have to be rocket scientists to see that there's a lot more upward potential here than downward potential. And if you are investing something that you know you can afford to lose, I mean, you know, if I put $100 in here and I made 7,000% or I lost $100, it's like a no-brainer. Of course I would risk $100 to potentially make 7,000% on it. All right. Yes, all right. So shout out to Samba. He says, make your own dang sparkling water. Yeah, I just bought the thing to make my own dang sparkling water. So I'm going to start to do that, you know? I'm going to start to do that. Why is there no THC coin yet? Wasn't there some kind of marijuana coin? Wasn't there some kind of marijuana coin? All right, so Divine Hood says coins like Hex may never hit all-time highs again. Yeah, guys, so do your own research because, look, I don't know anything about Hex. The only thing I know about Hex is it has something to do with Richard Hart. So, again, I don't know. Like I said, was this a rug pull? Did it already get rug pulled? If it did, don't buy Hex. That's all I can say. You know, I don't pay attention to these coins. It's just not my style. It's too much noise for me. I'm focused on trading Bitcoin. I'm focused on the things that I know how to do. I'm in my groove. When it comes to crypto, everyone has their own groove. Some people are out there buying altcoins, researching this, looking for the 1000x. I'm just in my zone, making the small, consistent gains over time. Right? I don't have time to research all this other stuff. I can only look at a chart. So Divine Hood says something about tokenomics and stuff like that. That's the stuff you got to look into yourself. All right. I am a technical trader only. So shout out to Ya'an Malik. He says, praise the Lord. Bless you all. He says, pray for me too. Well, I do pray for you, Ya'an, that the Lord blesses you. And if there's anything specific that you need, that he gives you a solution. All right, let's see. We got some other super chats in here. All right. Shout out to Terry Butts. My altcoin pick for this cycle. Can you do some TI on Avax and Solana? I only trade 1x leverage, shorts, and swing trade only on the daily. My altcoin picks for this cycle. I mean, I need to do a video of it and go over my altcoin picks. I can do a video on that. Can we take a look at Avax and Sol? Of course. So Solana, I'm bullish on Sol, and I think this pullback is going to be. Now, Sol is a coin. It's not like Hex. I know a little bit more about Solana. I am bullish on this thing in general. Right now, I would say we've broken out. And we have really broken out of this resistance. And from that breakout, we have gotten a 400% move to the upside. I will say that for me, I hold a lot of Solana on spot. And I bought a lot of Solana on spot in November 2022. And I haven't bought any more since then. And I haven't sold any either. But if I was going to be buying this thing on spot, I would wait and see where Bitcoin kind of bottoms out. Because right now, we could see Solana get like a 70% retracement back to key support. Is that definitely going to happen? Of course, we just can't know. But I would say for me, like the first place I would be super interested is $50, because $50 is a key support resistance flip. It was the technical target of the breakout of this trend line here, right, at this previous high. And now it's the Fibonacci golden pocket. So I would be really watching to see where Bitcoin bottoms out. For a lot of these bigger cap altcoins, we can kind of use Bitcoin as a gauge, right? They're not gonna move together because we're gonna see alt seasons and stuff like that. But if Bitcoin starts dropping to 30K, you know the altcoins are gonna bleed. So right now, things that have already broken out, altcoins that have already broken out in this last little altcoin season that we had recently, I'm waiting for big pullbacks before I buy any more on spot. And Sol is one of those, right? Sol is one of those. ICP is one of those. The ones that have already gotten these massive gains, it's not a good time, in my opinion, to be buying altcoins when Bitcoin is rejecting and changing market structure from macro resistance. And we just saw an altcoin season. I mean, historically speaking, the elements right now in the crypto space are pointing to massive blood in the streets. All right, Bitcoin pumps up, mad hype, ETF, altcoin season, alts going crazy, 400, 500, 700% gains. that is a top signal always. And so now let's just kind of wait and see what happens, honestly. AVAX. Also hold AVAX on spot. Yeah, so AVAX broke out of the wedge as well. This is one that, I guess we were kind of looking at this for a while here. We were looking for a potential short from the golden pocket. You know, look at that. Front ran our level here. This was in general my trading plan for AVAX, I guess back in the beginning of January, around January 3rd. I was looking for a dip, a pump, and a rejection from the golden pocket. We dipped down lower than I thought we were going to. And I didn't take these trades, by the way, but this was just my analysis. Let's see if we rejected. No, we still front ran that. Yeah, so interesting. Look at that. Look at that. Was looking for a rejection from 42. We came up to 41.95. All right. So front run by $1. All right. So, all right. Man, it's a good thing I didn't have a limit there. I'd be way more pissed if I actually had money. If I actually had a limit order set here, I would be way more pissed. Okay, so, look, here's the deal with AVAX. We are coming down right now to, I would say, like, I wouldn't start buying this on spot until 25 bucks. It's the value area high. Ideally, if we're going to come down, if we're not going to bounce from here, we could expect a move all the way back down to the bottom of the range to retest our trend line, right? Why the bottom of the range to retest the trend line? Because once we come back inside this fair value zone right here, it becomes very probable that we come down to POC. If we lose POC, which is $17, it's more probable than not we come back down to $10, which is the retest of this trend line, which is a beautiful breakout retest. And then kabamo, off to the horse races. You know? All right. Shout out to Delete Crypto. Yo, Jason, I'm DCAing into sand. Can you look at it? Yeah, we could look at sand. Sand, man, that takes me back to, like, wasn't that around in the 2017 bull market? Or no, I'm thinking of salt, I think. I'm thinking of salt. You guys remember salt? From the 2017 bull run? All right, so yeah, I mean, look, if you're bullish on sand, I think it's a really good thing to be DCAing into. Because of the chart. We formed a really nice bottom here with some nice bullish divs. On the daily, we've changed market structure. We've rejected from key resistance, which is to be expected. Yeah, I mean, I think the bottom looks nice on it. Money flow curving to the upside on the weekly. Yeah, it looks nice. I mean, coming down and getting a nice weekly trigger wave here. That could be a really, really nice bottom. It looks nice. I really like this retracement here. I think it looks like a bullish retracement having changed market structure on the weekly time frame. Money flow getting higher. So, yeah, again, guys, this is not financial advice. And I'm a technical trader, so I'm looking at the chart. I don't know about the fundamentals, the tokenomics. I don't know, right? I'm not really a crypto guy in the sense that I study crypto. I'm a trader in the sense that I trade technical analysis based upon a chart. That is what works for me, and that is how I have been successful in the crypto industry. So just let that be known as I'm going over these altcoins. I don't know what sand is, to be honest with you. I don't know what it does. I don't know. Is it DeFi? Is it AI? I don't know. Is it a rug pull? I don't know. I can only tell you what the chart says because that is how I buy and sell assets, based only on the chart. All right, shout out to Can you check Proppy? Smart contract real estate. Interesting. Proppy. Yeah. What is the What's the ticker? Is it this? Pro? Here we go. Man, I don't know, because it looks like there's very, very low liquidity on this with the wicks, even on the weekly. It looks very, I don't know. I don't know. If you're going to get into this thing, it's going to have to be based off fundamentals and the fact that we're heading into a bull market, but we have broken out of this resistance, at least on log scale. So that is a sign of strength, at least on log scale. But I can't really do analysis on it because I don't have enough data on the chart. It's too sloppy a price action for me to say it looks bullish or bearish. But if I had to just base this off market cipher alone, I would say it looks like she wants to pump more after this pullback because she has broken out of the resistance with money flow curving to the upside after forming a bullish divergence with money flow and momentum in a nice bottom. So if I had to pick a side on this, I would say I'm bullish on it, and this next green dot in the weekly could give us another big move up, right? But that's all I can really say. All right, guys. God bless everybody watching and listening. I do have to head out. It's been a good stream, but I will be back tomorrow, guys. Look, may the Lord bless you all in Jesus' name. Even if you are not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed. I will see everybody in the next stream. Shout out to Aaron G. Aaron G, bro, I'm sorry I haven't gotten back to you on, but it's just been a crazy week. But I'm going to hit you up right after this stream, man. Anyway, guys, peace, y'all.